Hey, what up? It's Brett from Enduro Ranch. Knocking out another podcast. Sweet. Um, yeah, so it's been a week and a day, and we're gonna keep trying to do these once weekly. Just not gonna put that in writing, but that's the plan. So yeah, we're snowed in a little bit now. We got some snow. We've had some sick riding, so you can see out there, back porch. Still got the Christmas stuff up, just in case you were worried that would be missing. I think we've stopped playing holiday music, but yeah. So had a pretty epic ride. It's one of our guides. The other day, John Bennett, we decided to. He was like, "Oh yeah, we'll go and I'm gonna ride my 450. It's a long ride." And I was like, well, I could take the 350, but maybe we'll do the 300 because he said there might be some sticky stuff or whatever. Yeah, probably the wrong choice. I literally felt like I was on a trials bike in a transfer section. I mean, look at my sprocket compared to him. Mine's looks like a, I don't know, 16-inch pizza, and his looked like a waffle. So needless to say, we got to a point where it was so it's winter, and I gotta say that the climb gloves, they're winter gloves. Hopefully they're still making them at the same place and same materials they were like 3 years ago, but those climb winter gloves are absolutely the best. And if anybody ever sees this ever and wants to know which ones, I can take a picture and send it to you. But yeah, they kept my fingers pretty warm for the most part, but I probably should have been a little more well prepared, just because once the sun goes down, especially in the winter, it gets cold. And we ended up about 50 miles from the house and up north of Florissant. So if you know where we start out at Rampart Range, and then you go west, and then I guess for you that would be west. But got out. We went to Hackett Gulch, which is really beautiful, really cool. And so we're talking about doing some dual sport rides out there as part of our tours. So we got to get permitted for that section, but it would be really sweet. So the idea is, as we kind of move forward with Enduro Ranch and what we're doing this year, we're going to do a lot more, string together a lot more trail rides for people that come in from out of town. So we'll go point to point. Then when they get off the trail, they'll get in the van and we'll take them to the next spot. And then, we'll have all their bikes taken care of and everything else. And then they'll basically get to crash, drink, party, whatever, get up and ride again at another epic spot. So as it is, we can traverse the state pretty well. We're permitted, and we'll be able to bring people will be able to come into Rampart, right? Fly in, test their bikes out into Denver if they're not going to fly into Montrose, right? Those are probably the two biggest airports, or Grand Junction. So get them on the bikes, get them set up, get our slacker to get their suspension set up for them, bars, stuff like that, and then have them ride Rampart, and then they could even head out as far as that, and then pick up in Florissant. Certainly for the more dual sport guys, but pick them up in Florissant, and then that night head down and crash at a couple of good locations, whether it's Buny or Salida or Sargent's, anywhere in between, and then they get up and ride out of Sargent's and take off and head towards Taylor Park. So that's obviously a midsummer ride. You don't get to go do that at other times of the year because it's just, I think June, July, August, it's snow free. But and there's really no guarantee June will be snow free, but usually May, June, July, August, or September starts to get a little sketch. We have a weird winter. You could get dumped on. I remember years ago going with Kevin and Michelle Bush and rallying around out there, and we got up above tree line, and I got a flat and was changing a tire, and in the snow, it started snowing. Also another cold finger night, but yeah. So anyway, we hitch up. We're 6 miles from Florissant, ducked down into Florissant. And, you know, as a Colorado guy, I'm always like, Florissant, you know, but they do have so that is I think it's probably a national park. It could be state, but it's Florissant in Colorado. So if you didn't know this, we had volcanoes at one point. A lot of the stuff that happened in Colorado is like billions of years old. But I can't remember how long ago it was, but the volcano went off in Florissant and near Florissant, and it basically just poof, knocked everything down around it, covered it in ash, and all that stuff petrified. So it was and it also made a ton of fossils. Like, it's known as a fossil place. So if you go to Florissant, Colorado, and you're driving through to go to Breck, you're just like, why do I got to slow down? You know, I'm going skiing or snowboarding. So, but when we came in from the other route coming down on the roads, it was like, wow, this is really cool little spot. And so what people could do is, you know, potentially their spouses can come along on their trips, and they could be hiking Pikes Peak or driving up Pikes Peak, and then they can go out to the Florissant fossil beds, or again, whatever you call it, national monument. I don't know if it's a monument, but that's really bad. I should really know that. I could Gemini but so it's pretty wild because those petrified trees, there's not much left of them. It's mostly just stumps now that are kind of sticking out of the ground. You can walk on them, but yeah, they're 6 to 8 feet in diameter. Huge, like giant redwood looking things that at one point. But when they fell down, over all the years and years and years, people came by and picked up all the little pieces of the petrified wood because they wanted to have their little stuff, and they were probably selling it out of the stores around there and all that stuff. They still have a ton of gemstones and everything, but yeah, that is neat to go in and walk around and realize, like, wow, this was a giant forest back then. And so that's kind of cool. And the town looks really cool. We refueled. The light was on when we left for there, and I was like, I think we get 10 miles out of a 22 Husqvarna, like 10 miles when the light comes on, TPI. Got there, got some fueled up, went over to the grocery store and needed a neck gaiter. Man, it was cold. So that was kind of funny. Just tore the top off a brand new hat, tore a hole in it and put it on. It worked great. Made it back, but as we started back, then John was going down the road, curvy road, just decomposed granite, and just you couldn't see it at all. It was literally, I should have taken a picture. I got pictures of him doing the repairs where his foot brake went right through the case, which is another reason that you want to have a really nice skid plate, right? That goes out wide enough to cover. So when your bike falls over, it, oh, no, I'm not taking any calls. And so, yeah, he fell down and put a hole in the case on the clutch cover. We popped in. He was, damn, guy was prepared. Scraped it all off with a knife, scraped off all the paint, cleaned it all up, scraped off the paint, got out his epoxy, right? So steel stick or JB Weld, whatever it was. And we had to do that in my exhaust to keep it warm enough so he could heat it up, and then got it in there, put 2 coats on, and it held. But it's funny because if you see the pictures, I should do a post on Instagram. I'll try and do that during SUPERCROSS tomorrow, which is a different topic. And yeah, just pushed it in there, plugged it in, and then did another layer after that by softening it up in the heat. And then we got rolling again. But when the first picture takes place, it's light. And then when the second picture, because we actually left right at 4:20, we left Florissant, and we're laughing about that. If you're a Colorado person, it's always just funny, like, oh, bro. So we came out, and yeah, by the last picture, 20 minutes later, it's literally dark, and we rolled into Rainbow Falls, headed back towards the front of Rampart to Enduro Ranch headquarters. At we were 6:20, we hit that, and we were home by about 7:15, 7:30. But I just had the chintzy little stock light, and John has got like, I mean, it was. He was perfect, right? If someone ever goes down and doesn't have a light, you just ride, like, if this is the guy with no light, you ride right here next to him. And so you always give room, and we came back all the trails, and it was sweet, made it back. But yeah, needless to say, when we got home, it was like food, warm shower, bed. Right? Like it was almost 8 o'clock when we rolled it, 7:30. But yeah, it's a great adventure. And Hackett Creek is sick. If you want to go out there, just let us know. I'll show you where that is. But we're not permitted out. Oops, we're not permitted out there yet. We're permitted in West Creek, but we don't necessarily go all the way to Hackett, so Gulch. So we're going to work on that. It crosses the South Platte, which is really wild. Platte goes, yeah. So that's a different topic. But that's the big adventure for this week. I had a couple good rides. Hannah got back out on her 300 after the knee incident. So she, if you don't know, Hannah Sorensen one of our riders took the women's A overall in RMEC and Corks this year. So right on, Hannah. She's a ripper. She's 15 and so smooth. Right. It's tough, man. If you're a dude and you're one of those like blah, blah, on the trails, you're just going to be like, what? If your ego gets involved, danger zone. That's how I screwed myself up trying to race ladies. So yeah, we got that going on. And then conditions right now, it's snow. We got about 5 inches here. They got about a foot in Colorado Springs. So Captain Jack's and all that's off. I think Penrose is probably got some snow on it too, so you can't even ride that. Texas Creek is a little further up. That might have escaped. So yeah, I don't know about that one. If anybody knows, give a shout. And then trying to think what else. Western Slope conditions report is snow. It's got about 5 inches out there, something like that. So it's going to be a few days, 4 or 5 days before it dries out and starts to get good. You do not want to go on that stuff. It's that Manco Shale, same stuff at Thunder Valley. And then you get it Summit Ramoff Road, and yeah, it's just that Manco Shale, man. You get that a little bit wet, and you're just, the wheels will stop turning, right? And your boots will be like this big, well, like this big, Sasquatch. So, yeah, that's about it. No work parties or anything going on like that. We're doing an annual strategy meeting with the RRMMC, so to plan for this year. Always looking for new members for that. So if you guys want to get involved in the community, want some more people to ride with, and yeah, just want to give back and be respectful, that's a great way to do it. We're always looking for other people to join, and you end up with a bunch of new rider buddies of people that love the trails and love the outdoors. So yeah, it's RRMMC or Rampart Range Motorcycle Management Committee or Motorized Management Committee. Never know. Trying to think. So the other big thing really to talk about is Supercross starting tomorrow. I know this is an enduro thing, but pretty much every dirt bike, everybody watches Supercross. MotoGP guys watch it. Formula One guys watch it. Certainly the enduro guys watch it. And unfortunately, Jet Lawrence won't be out there with his double crushed foot. Like he really crunched it, apparently. Pins. And so a lot of folks are saying they don't think he'll even come back for Supercross this year, which is such a bummer, because who doesn't love to watch that guy ride, except for people that, I don't know, don't get how good he is. Maybe it's so good, but yeah, that starts tomorrow. So it starts tomorrow early with race day live, and then they have the pre-show, and then they have the pre-show, and then gate drops at 5 o'clock Colorado time. So that's 4 Pacific. 7 o'clock on the East, but gonna be a 6 season. I mean, like now we've got, I'm not a badass at this stuff, but we've been following it a long time. All right. I missed a few years there. Unfortunately, missed some of the James Stewart and Ricky Carmichael years. Yeah, Bob Hanna, Ken Howerton, Mark Barnett, all those guys. So I've been following it for a few years, and this will be a good year. This will be really interesting because Tomac's got a chance. Chase is on the Cowie. Tomac's on the KTM, and he says it feels super planted, and it feels like he's got an extra G of gravity working too. working to his advantage, which is huge because he's a throttle hungry guy. And it was funny. Ricky Johnson did a post, a preview show with Grant, Dave Pingree, and Jeff Emig. And he talked about listening to Eli and Jet go through the same turn when he was watching. He was like, Jet just went through and rolled on the throttle and just and came out. And Eli was like, and Jet was faster. And but Eli's that bike will suit him well if he's planted. Chase, of course, on the Kawasaki. This is not news for anybody that's into it, but it's going to be a good season because, you know, Roxon will come out strong. Cooper Webb, right? So he's so consistent. He could win another championship. Eli could win it. Chase could win it. But I think the sleeping giant is Hunter, right? Hunter won the SX finals. And, oh, no, Jet ended up winning that. But Hunter was right there, right? So, and then, yeah, Hunter's on a roll. It's kind of my top pick to win it. As much as I'm a Colorado guy, and I'd love to see Tomac win it. If I had to put money on it, Hunter's all he's got to do is get good starts. He's not as good a passer as Jet, man. Jet or Eli, right? Either of those guys start last, they're winning, right? It's still their podium. So anyway, that's about it. Stay tuned for what we're going to be releasing on February 1st. Again, we're going to announce our Trailheads program, which is really going to, I think, it's a totally different way for people to get out and ride, especially if you don't want to spend your whole life and time trying to meet up with people and go in forums and look on Coach Rex and spin, especially if you don't want to spend your whole ride like this. Kids are home. So time to call it quits. All right. We're out.